Your current relationship is a mirror of your inner world. I used to struggle with toxic relationships until I discovered how deeply my inner beliefs were shaping my experiences. So today, I'm going to share the powerful truths that transformed my love life and help you to do the same. You attract what you are, not what you want. So if you want it, let's reflect it. Let's dive in and discover how you can transform your inner world and attract the love that you deserve. Remember feeling trapped in a cycle of toxic relationships, one after the other, trying harder than ever before, wondering why I couldn't just find someone to love me. Lasting love. Sound familiar? It wasn't until I looked within and realized that my inner beliefs and my entire self-concept around what love isn't, what shouldn't be done, all that was shaping my actual perception of the experiences and the illusion of reality, especially in my sacred relationships, those that I invested the most in, the one I was the most attached to, the one where I thought love had to look like this formula. But by changing my inner world, I began to attract healthy, loving relationships that I desired. So I had all the choices, finally. And you can do this too. Today, I'm going to show you how. One of the big things I had to really understand was my assumptions. I have lots of stories and lots of data, both personally and that I observed in the world around me and in the relationship with my mother and my father and my stepfather and her going through marriages and divorces and everything else. I had my own assumptions about what a man is supposed to do in a relationship, how a man is supposed to, or really how am I supposed to show love. And it also had this really horrible assumption that if my partner said they didn't feel my love, then that meant that I was doing something wrong. I assumed that my partner was supposed to be the one that knew me more than anybody else. And if they saw something, that meant that they saw something I couldn't see. That's where learning about the law of assumption really changed things and many others. So let's talk about law of assumption for a minute. The law of assumption states that what you assume to be true becomes your reality. Now, hear me out. The assumptions that you keep persisting in, your actual truths, whatever you think, all the time you say, but I know this. Yeah, that becomes your reality. The more you think it, the more you claim you know it, the more you affirm what's going on in your relationships or anything else. That reality eventually manifests because you are the creator of reality. So if you assume you are unworthy of love, and I definitely thought I was unworthy of love for so many reasons. Some, just because I'm a man, therefore I have to prove that I'm a good guy or else I'm automatically a bad guy. I had those horrible negative programming done to me that just because I was a man, I'm already screwed. The assumption is I'm going to be an abuser and a taker and not care about anybody. And if you said you think I didn't care about you, I automatically was like, oh, I have to move heaven and earth to prove it because you're the only judge of who I am. I totally bought into that nonsense for so many years of my life. But when you assume that you are deserving of a healthy, fulfilling relationship, you attract it. I changed my assumption. No, I started affirming, assuming I am worthy. I visualize and see myself in the relationships that I desired exactly how I wanted them to look. That's the assumption that I had to change, and that's the assumption I want you to change. If you assume anything about yourself, that is going to manifest so that you prove yourself right. It's just how powerful you and I are. So accept it. That is the law of assumption in a nutshell. Along with the law of assumption, I do come with extensive background experience in the law of attraction. And so I had to realize, where does the law of assumption and the law of attraction start and end? And that is something that can be argued or discussed in many different venues and podcasts, and probably already is. But how I integrated it into my understanding and what helped me change everything was looking at it this way. The law of attraction was about alignment, aligning my energy with what I actually want to attract. So the assumption piece is about living in the end, assuming you're already there. Everything is valid, by the way, even shadow work, even though I would say don't do it. It's valid to a point. So law of attraction is also still valid. It's what I learned so much of in my life. But since the law of attraction is about alignment and energy, it's really about what you want to focus on. If you're working on relationships, you focus on love, gratitude, fulfillment, drawing in the similar energies. If I am embodying love, fulfillment, passion, then I'm walking around in love, and people respond to that. The world and the universe responds to that because I'm putting it out there. It's going to reflect back to me. It's automatic. So you draw in the similar energies. When you walk around in love, you're going to draw in love. To manifest a healthy relationship, I want you to practice gratitude for the love you already have. Start by loving yourself, which is the foundation for all of this. If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? So you got to love yourself first and keep loving yourself as you navigate through your relationships so that you can stay in alignment with love, because they're going to have conflict. You're going to have crisis. If you lose the alignment of love, that's simply, then you're never going to find lasting love. So we want to stay in alignment with the feeling and presence of being in love and being unconditional as we navigate our relationships. You can go or stay. I'm going to tell you, if you got to go in love them out the door, because you're going to carry that into the next relationship. And this leads me into another thing that relationships were constantly showing me, but I wasn't willing to see it because I was focused externally on what they were doing and saying and what I could do in reaction to what they were doing and saying. This is the mirror principle, which you've heard me say over and over again. The relationships, your relationship is an actual mirror reflecting your inner state. So let's stop being picky and choosy. Yes, it can be very convenient to hear this go, but when my partner does this, that's not a mirror. That's because they're evil and they're a liar and they're a cheater. And I got 100 things I documented to prove it. And I have a TikTok all about it with thousands of followers believing in me. That's all BS. It's all a mirror. If we're in a mirror universe, if your relationship is a mirror, it's always a mirror to your inner world, not just the parts you're willing to take responsibility for. If you're only half in, half out of any of these processes, and you're wondering why you aren't able to manifest what you're asking for, this is why. You got to go all in. You can't go half into believing anything. Everything you believe and assume in your life, you believe it 100%. You don't believe it half and half. But if you want to change your beliefs and manifest differently, you got to go all in and be 100% with this stuff. No halfsies. Not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Doesn't work. What I had to realize is that when I was experiencing conflict in my relationships, dissatisfaction, I didn't like what she did or what they did. To change my life, I realized this is an opportunity for me to look within and address my inner beliefs and emotions. I said, when you're looking at your partner and they're expressing themselves to you in this kind of way, which seems really abusive, that seems really unhealthy, XYZ, take a breath, look at them, and for 10 seconds, ask yourself, what am I trying to tell myself in this moment in time? And then respond versus automatically responding, triggered, emotional, sad, desperate, afraid to lose the person. Whatever your story is, you play this out the same way. So change how you look at it. What am I trying to learn from this experience I put myself in, that I created? When you cultivate this kind of self-awareness in harmony, you then reflect and attract love you desire versus just reacting to the 3D sensations of the world, which keep you chasing your tail round and round. Nicole, a client of mine, went through her divorce. I was supporting her as she was going and dating through the whole process. She had issues of unworthiness, not knowing who she is anymore because she was in a marriage for 20 years. You can imagine she was really devastated. She met her soulmate very shortly after the work shifted to changing her state of mind, changing who she believes she was in, letting go of the old story. We changed her assumptions. We changed what she was aligning to the future and being now, not the past. That story was just dead and gone. Her shift was so profound. She was the first person to move out of state in her entire family. She moved out, started a whole new life, and she just got married 2 months ago. Really a powerful story of shifting everything. And she's so happy. And we're still close. Another success story, he focused on his wish fulfilled, and his wife dropped the divorce. Now they're both navigating the process to move back in. He's not trying to make it happen. She is bringing it up because he has let go of resistance. He kept his family together. by staying faithful to his vision, not the 3D circumstances. All those 3D circumstances were just perfect opportunities to give up and run away and just give in. But he held true to the faith. Now, these stories show transformation is possible with the right mindset and techniques and living your wish fulfilled, attracting and assuming. Now, I'm going to give you some practical steps, okay? To manifest a healthy relationship. Number one, I want you to visualize. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself in a loving relationship. If you don't know what that looks like, you got to figure that out. So figure out what a loving relationship actually looks like with tangibles, concrete things. Pick things, not just feelings and sensations. Pick actual things that happen in the relationship, or else you can't visualize it. Do that, number one. Number two, affirmations. So let's throw out any BS ideas that are out there right now that affirmations don't work. Poppycock, okay? That's just nuts. Repeat affirmations such as, I am worthy of love. I attract healthy relationships. I am already in a loving relationship that looks like, and tell the story. Visualizing is about telling that story. So if you really have a hard time visualizing, then tell the story. Write it down. So number one could be storytelling or visualizing. Number three, self-love practices. I want you to engage in actual activities to boost your self-esteem and well-being. So that means love on yourself. Self-love is all day. I love myself right now. Self-love and self-care should be moment by moment, all day, every day. By consistently applying steps for self-love practices, you align your inner world with the love you desire. That's what I had to do. And it's what I have to keep doing. This isn't a one-time thing. If you want to shift your life, you got to keep doing this. You don't do it one time and then wait for something bad to happen and go, oh, it never worked. It was all an illusion. No, the illusion is believing in that story. We're going to address the common questions about manifesting relationships. Get ready. Here's a question. How long does it take to see results? There's a whole rabbit hole we can go into because time's an illusion, time doesn't really exist. The only thing real is right now, the now moment. But for those who aren't ready to hear that, manifesting just comes at different timelines for everyone. That's why you have to be consistent and believe. That's how you make significant changes within seconds, days, months. Eventually, you're going to experience instant manifestations. So does it take time? Yes. But when it does actually happen, you're going to be able to come back here and comment below and say, holy crap, Anthony, manifestations are instant, because they are. But you don't have to believe that right now to see change. That's going to come when you build up your confidence. So you don't have to believe it's right now to make it happen. Another question I get, what if I have doubts? Boy, my last video did so well, and we still have people putting in doubts. They're saying, I can't do blank. The one thing I'm talking about doing in the video, they're saying, I can't do it. So that's what I'm talking about. Yes, I have doubts sometimes, and I already know this stuff is an absolute truth. I still have doubts because I'm still a spiritual entity living in a human meat suit that falls into the illusion of the five senses many times a day. But what if you have doubts? So just remember, doubts are natural. They're okay. Accept them. Acknowledge them. Just don't let them control you. Because if you try to push a doubt away, if you try to convince yourself that you could never have a doubt, you go into the category of trying to say a certain reality doesn't exist. Well, you can't do that because all realities exist. Everything is finished. Creation is finished. So you can't exert force to get rid of something like a doubt. It doesn't work. It just gets buried and comes back up and manifests in some other way or comes out sideways. And if you're in a relationship, you don't want that to happen. So don't let your doubts control you. Acknowledge them, bless them, love them. They're there for a reason. So always have gratitude for everything, including your doubts, because they're going to help you get into the deeper loving onion of that which is you. So whenever I have a doubt, it is difficult. But when I get past the doubt, I have a deeper understanding of the technique, the process, and I love myself a little bit more. Okay, so doubts are fine. We have covered a lot today. Today we explored how to transform your inner world to manifest the love you deserve. We covered that you're in a current relationship that mirrors your inner state. We covered that by applying the law of assumption, the law of attraction, and the mirror principle, you automatically attract and maintain a healthy, loving relationship. So I encourage you to start these practices today. Share your experiences. What is the one thing that is the hardest of everything I share with you today? And also, what is the one thing that, you know what, you're going to do it right now. You got this down. I really hope you enjoyed the episode today. I enjoyed making it. Remember, you're sacred. You're worthy. You are loved. This is Anthony Cortino, Sacred Cobra. We'll see you next time. Cheers.